Okay, I'm going to show a sine wave versus a square wave, the harmonics. Got this oscillator set to 1 kilohertz. This is a very clean oscillator in the sense it's a true oscillator. It's got very low distortion, like 0.05, 0.04. Now if I go over here, hit start, I'm going from 2 hertz to 12 kilohertz, 12.8 kilohertz. This is the fundamental here at 1 kilohertz. That's the second harmonic, 2 kilohertz, that's the third, and there's just about nothing there going out. That's with the sine wave. This is with a 35670A dynamic analyzer. And if I go here, it changes to square wave, hit the start button, you get the whole smear of harmonics. First harmonic, second harmonic, fifth harmonic, seventh, ninth, 11th. So you get all the odd order harmonics are very strong, and then you get some secondary ones, the second, fourth, sixth, eighth, 10th, 12th. And this will just go on basically to about infinity. You get a huge number of harmonics with the square wave. And I think math-wise, it should only be these guys. If it was a perfect square wave, these should actually be way down to 0. If I go here and change this to 2 kilohertz sine wave, and let's see, got to get this set right. There's 2 kilohertz. So we got 2, 4, 6. This is the second, this is the third, and this is with the sine wave. Right here. Got it set to 20 times the range scale of 100. And I'll go over here and change this to square wave. Hit the start button. We've got 2 kilohertz, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So you get, this is 2 kilohertz. If I move the marker here, find the peak. There it is right there. Got a little bit of flicker here, filming here. I varied the frame rate, and it seems like I always got some, but this is an older 35670A dynamic signal analyzer. They make these in 2-channel modes, 4 channels, and then they make a bunch of different options. These are older units. They usually work pretty good. Sometimes you get some ones with issues, so you got to be careful. A lot of times people sell stuff that's old. There's a lot of different options which are installed by software. Generally, they're all installed, but you have to have the key to unlock it. And then this oscillator, I've had several of these going back to the last 40 years. And this one's made by Chung. And it's like they've resurrected this design every 5 to 10 years and they sell them. It just has discrete frequencies, but it's a very low noise oscillator. I bought one of these in the mid-80s. And if I set this to, I like to set this to 1 kilohertz there. Hit this. There's the fundamental. You can also go through and there's a button here you can use to go ahead and find the peak, where it'll just jump to the peak. If you got a lot of noise, this feature here will jump to a bunch of weird positions. Sometimes I just like to use the wheel. And so that's the second and the third. And I've got this set to 10 dB per division. So you've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, about 68 dB down. This is third harmonic, which is really good. Again, this is not a 555 timer. It's just a weird name they gave it. This is a true oscillator. It's very clean. And there you go. That's the 35670A dynamic analyzer. The older ones have got this kind of a orangish color. There's a newer one that's got a different type of screen on it. But I've used these on and off for many years. Sometimes you get one that's a dud, so just beware. I've got this so it automatically turns off. This particular unit, when I boot it up, it kind of gets a burr up its butt and it wants to go through and run home and not go into FFT analysis. Always wants to jump to time. And I have to goof around with it and then finally it'll work. So sometimes if I'm using it, I'll just leave it on. And I've got the screen so it'll automatically turn off in a minute. But it's got some issue. I don't know if it's software. There's a bad cap in it. It'll tend to go through and decides to get hung up to where it just, you got to mess around with it too much time. And I'm going to turn this off here so I don't run the battery. This runs off a 9-volt battery. These lights on here, the over and half, are so that when you put this on here, I can adjust the amplitude and not have, this is the first light when it's half up, and this is when you're clipping on there. And that's about it. Oscillator and dynamic analyzer.